On today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this yummy creamy pasta that my family enjoyed eating so much and my kids never stop asking me to make it. Number one key to this recipe is keeping it simple. Welcome back to my channel. For this recipe, I am using shrimps, but you can use any protein of your choice. You can use beef, minced meat. You can also use chicken breast for this recipe. I feel it's just a matter of preference. The first thing I usually do is to clean up my shrimps because I feel that they have a lot of dirt in them. I don't just use them like this. I usually clean them thoroughly. So I suggest you also do the same if you have not been doing it. I usually put them in a bowl and then start washing them thoroughly. And as you can see, I wash them severally, pour out the water, the dirty water, then put them in a clean water and also put a clean water in a bowl beside me. I then go ahead and take a piece at a time and cut into half. And as you can see, there's lots of dirt coming out from me. The water beside me is for rinsing it out, and this one is also for making sure that everything is just clean. I repeat the same process to remove all the dirt. See, this is the proper way of washing your shrimps. If you're not doing your shrimps like this, then it means you have been eating a lot of dirt from your shrimps. So I suggest you start doing it. Anyways, I go over and over repeating the same process. Once I'm done with my shrimp, the next thing I prepare is my onions. I go ahead and wash, peel, and cut up my onions in the way that suits my heart.
Feel the whispers in the air tonight. Silent stars, they spark a gentle light. Questions answered in this quiet peace. Hearts resting, find a sweet release. Moonlight dances on a silver sea. Here in stillness, you are close to me.
I'm sure you can also see that the little hands that eat the most are also here helping me out. So anyways, after that, I go ahead and put my pot on the fire, on the heat, and turn it on. For today's recipe, I'm using coconut cooking oil from Barilla. I go ahead and put in the much that I need and let it heat up. Once the oil is heated up, I go ahead and add my chopped onions and give it a very nice stir. Be generous with any of your ingredients. There is no rule to this. So anyways, after the onions has fried to fragrance, I go ahead and add my shrimps. And after adding the shrimps, I also give it a nice stir to make sure that everything is cooking properly. Now that the shrimp is in the pot and cooking nicely, this is the time I start seasoning my shrimp and getting this whole thing ready for this recipe. I know for some people the reverse is the case, but for me, this is how I do it. So anyways, I go in with my thyme and add some thyme to that. Then the next thing I go in with is some salt. You want to add some salt to taste. Then go ahead and add some garlic, which is very important for flavor. Add some black pepper. Just be generous with whatever thing you're adding. Basically, add all the ingredients you want. Ginger is also not forgotten. Go ahead and add that ginger and give it a nice stir.
Every doubt fades like the evening.
Next, I go in with my seasoning cubes, of course, for taste. So anyways, this is what I do, and after that I also give it a nice stir. And for added nutrition and color, I go in with my mixed vegetables. Oh my god, I love using mixed vegetables whenever I'm cooking some kind of dishes. Anyways, this is optional. If you don't want to use this, it's totally fine. So I add that, and I wanted to be very generous with it, so I kept on checking if it was enough, and I kept on adding more. After adding that, I gave it a very nice stir to make sure everything is cooking thoroughly. At this point, if you have noticed, I've not added any other liquid apart from the oil and the ingredients that are cooking there. As I let the vegetables cook, on this side of the burner, I have a pot of water. I added some olive oil and some salt to taste. We're going to be using this to cook the pasta. Now back to the pasta sauce. I'm using this whipping cream as my cream for this recipe. This seems to be the only thing closest to a cooking cream that I find in the shops near me. But you can use coconut milk. You can also use full cream milk for also making these. I've seen people do that, but this is what I usually use as is what I find. So anyways, I go ahead and add that and also added some fresh pepper and gave it a nice stir.
In this calm, our souls forever kissed. Let the peace flow deep within.
At this point, I went ahead to check for tests to make sure everything is in order. Anyways, I noticed that the cream was cooking up and getting thicker, so I had to add some water as my pasta is not yet ready to be added. I had some leftover meat. I went ahead and also added that to the sauce.
In our veins, in our hearts, no trace of.
My pot of water is boiling and it's time to add my pasta, and for this I'm using the Barilla spaghetti. Anyways, I went ahead and added that. For this recipe I used about 4 packs because I have a large family. You can also use other type of pasta that is not spaghetti. You can use penne, you can use fettuccine, you can use any other pasta of your choice, but this is the one I chose today. So anyways, I added that up and gave it a nice stir just to make sure that everything is submerged in water and is cooking nicely.
Sorrow stains. Life's
While my pasta was cooking, I also kept an eye on the sauce because we don't want it to be too thick. If not, it wouldn't be creamy, right? So, anyways, I kept on checking on board to make sure everything comes out nicely. I had to reduce the heat for the sauce. Now that the pasta is ready, I went straight to pour out the water.
motion fades away so
So at this point, the pasta was ready, and I just went ahead to start adding it into the sauce.
fast. Here in harmony, we found at last. Let joy overflow.
I was adding it little by little, but the Nigerian in me could not just tolerate the time wasting. So I went ahead and poured everything into the pot. As you can see, like I said before, I'm cooking for a large family, my family. So, anyways, I poured everything, and at this point, you want to start mixing. You want to start mixing up everything to make sure that all the ingredients and the pasta are all married together on a very low heat. It's important that you do this on a low heat because as you're cooking it, the cream is also thickening, so you want to do this quick and you want to do it on a low heat. So anyways, I kept on stirring, mixing, and bringing everything together to make sure they all marinate together. So at the end, after a while, this is what we have. Can you see that? So yummy, so beautiful. So at this point, it's just the cream and the pasta and the ingredients and everything. I just kept on mixing because I wanted it to be perfect. So, anyways, you thought we are finished? No, we are not. What is creamy pasta without a Parmesan cheese? I went ahead and added a generous amount of Parmesan cheese on top of that to give it this beautiful look and an amazing taste. If you don't have Parmesan cheese, I don't know what else you can use. I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up and give you an info down in the comment. But at this point, this food is ready. We are done and it's looking so beautiful, so yummy, so delicious, so colorful, so flavorful. The taste of this pasta was out of this world, and my family members, they kept on asking me for more. My name is Cynthia Elewa, also known as C Babe to you. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like and share to your friends and family, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.